It's Bruce Ferris here with Windermere Real Estate in Seattle, and I'm going to take a quick look today at the highs and lows, the peaks and valleys that have taken place over the last 10 or 15 years, and take a look at some of those radical shifts that completely defined the Seattle marketplace, and we'll be able to pinpoint exactly what months those things took place. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to jump into the Windermere data set that is used for a number of tools that are used for pricing properties. Here we are back in, call it January of 1990. Each one of these gray lines across the page, by the way, will be a year's time, and the red blocks will be a $50,000 increment. So here we are at 150 roughly, and it takes us until 1994 to get us up to 200,000. It takes a few more years to get another 50,000 in the marketplace at 250 there in 98, but then we crest 300 in 99 of June, or June of 99, forgive me. Then it takes us until 2003 to get to 350, but in June of 04, we're already at 400. In May of 05, we're at 450. In March of 06, we crest 500. And then March of 07, we even crest the 550 mark up to 570. And then right here, May, June, and July, that's when things started to change here in Seattle. Notice the volume of transactions across NWMLS during June. That's 2,659. That was a massive amount of properties changing hands. And we crested at $599,000 on the average price of Northwest Multiple Listing Service listings. We then very quickly dropped $50,000. In just the course of a couple of months, our volume started dropping radically. Here we are at 940 in January of 08. And let's start watching our $50,000 increments dropping back down again. So here we are at 07. Here we are in October of 08 at coming underneath the 500 mark. Then it takes us down to 450 in 09. And we hit the 400 mark in November of 11. Now, right around then, December, January, and February, we started noticing a little bit of change, but it really wasn't until February, March that we saw our first incendiary multiple offers again. It was the first time we had seen that. So you can see we're 400, 392, 398, 386, and then boom, they started right back up again. Market time started dropping down to just days on market, and within just a few months, we bumped right back up to 465, pumped above the 450 mark, and again, the same thing happened. We picked up another $50,000 in the marketplace there in that short amount of time, and then it did it again in about a year's time, and then we've got just over a year's time here to get us above the $600,000 mark. Then it moves very quickly from 600 to over 650, and the same thing here for 650 to the 700 range, and same thing again. And then notice this right here, 752 pumps up to 816,000 in just a couple of months, and then only 2 months it pumps over the 850 mark. That's just insane. And when that took place, then we started to have a little bit of market correction last year. This is in June. And we started seeing a little bit of a cooling, a little bit less multiple offers taking place, and 864 down to 831, down to 787. That was the low end of that. 802.78, excuse me, 770. There's our low end right there. And sure enough, that little market correction that we just had basically turned itself around in the latter part of the year, December, and in January, that was the last we saw of that, and we're right back up to 858, which is where we were essentially in June of last year. Here's 858 here as well, 857. Here's 288 and 288, 289 if you want to average up. So those are our time periods. We have, let's go right back up here. Here is our market bottoming out in basically the first couple of months of 12. And here is our market drop, cresting and turning around in what we generally like to call August of 07. That's usually the date that we use when we're talking about the marketplace. That's it for this week in Seattle real estate. It's 4 minutes into it. I'm Bruce Ferris, Windermere Real Estate in Seattle. Take good care. Hope that was of interest.